This incident happened shortly after my father had passed away. My cousin, who is basically like my best friend, and I went over to my cousin's house to hang out one night. We were smoking some green, and they were drinking. I drank a little, but not as much because I wasn't a big drinker. After about an hour or two of smoking and drinking, I had like 2 or 3 shots and a beer. So, not too much for me, but also not enough to get me to the point where I was feeling the drunk effect. Somebody decided, "Hey, why don't we play with the Ouija board?" I said no, that I watched too many horror movies and already know that it's a bad idea. I listened to them saying that I'm practically scared and shit, and I decided to say fuck it and join them, while the little voice in my head was saying, "I'm pretty sure it's just a load of bullshit anyway." We had all kinds of protection things that you were supposed to have with a Ouija board. The Ouija board that they brought out was something that came out of like the 1970s. It had an old school boxing and everything. We talked to a couple of random spirits, until my cousin's girlfriend ended up supposedly getting in contact with her brother. That wouldn't normally be too bad, so I decided to ask if there were any other spirits there, and it spelled out my father's name. Now, at this point, I was pretty pissed off and was like, "Alright, y'all, what the fuck? Yeah, I know that's a bunch of bullshit since my father just passed." Everyone was just saying that they weren't moving the planchette, to which I called bullshit again, but they insisted that if I didn't believe them, to ask something that only I and my father would know. I decided to go ahead and give it a try. I said, "Alright, if you're my father, then tell me something that only him and I would know." The board slowly spelled out the answer to my question, which made my heart drop into the pit of my stomach. I felt empty, sad, and absolutely stunned. The board started trying to count down and go through the alphabet after talking to the spirit for about a minute or two. We all kept trying to tell it goodbye, but some unseen force was keeping us from saying goodbye to it, and after a little bit of that, I was trying to keep it away from doing all that, and just like that, all of it suddenly stopped, and we were able to say goodbye. My only thought on the matter is that I'm fairly certain that I was talking to my father at first, before something else took over and pushed him out of the way to try and get out of the board. But then he decided to push it back out of the way, which allowed us to say goodbye to it. I still get goosebumps to this day thinking about it or telling the story. That was the last time I will ever play with a Ouija board. Never again.